Hey guys, and welcome. The other day I created a poll in which I asked what your preferred type of horror is. And I was really surprised to find out that it was a tie between extreme and psychological horror. I thought that extreme horror was still something that appealed to a smaller portion of people, but I guess I was wrong. Plus, I guess many people found my channel due to the influx of views that I got on those last two videos. And on that note, the video I'm presenting you today has nothing to do with either genre. But in all seriousness, I will definitely be making a lot more videos that pertain to both psychological and extreme horror. But I kind of needed a palate cleanser. So I figured that I'd make a video about movies that kind of foreshadowed real life world events. So let's dive in. Number one is a movie that you could say aged a little too well, and it's Contagion, made in 2011. From what I can remember, when it first came out, it wasn't particularly popular. It was just seen as another drama thriller, kind of how we still look at The Day After Tomorrow. Hopefully I didn't jinx anything by saying that. So, obviously, the film didn't predict one specific event, but it got the gist of how people respond to crisis pretty well. There was, however, a total lack of foreshadowing in terms of the toilet paper gate. The virus in Contagion starts with habitat loss. A bat drops food, a pig eats it, a cook skips hand washing, and the virus moves on. All of which mirror real outbreaks. Most pandemics begin through zoonotic spillover, which in other words means that the virus originates from an animal. Just contact and carelessness. It feels like after COVID, people are gonna try to argue that whatever new disease we're faced with must be man-made, while in reality, as a population, we are way overdue for a pandemic. By the way, the book Pandemic by Sonia Shah does an excellent job of elaborating on this further. But I digress. Contagion shows how fragile the line is between normal life and collapse. If you watch the movie, you'll notice the director focuses on touch. Hands on doors, phones, glasses, railings. The camera returns to these moments again and again. And after 2020, this feels familiar. We learned to watch surfaces. We flinched at coughs. We counted days since contact. The film shows spread as a chain, which really is a reality when dealing with something like this. No matter your views on COVID, the reality of a virus is that it spreads through contact. What I enjoy about the movie is that doctors and scientists in the film know what they're doing, which, don't be fooled, doesn't mean they're in control. Research takes time, and bureaucracy slows response. Public trust understandably breaks down, as those especially wary of the government and of what it's been capable of in the past question the validity of the concern. It's difficult to gauge the situation when you're out of your depth and trying to make the best decision based on the information given. It also doesn't help the CDC does not save the day with a speech. Instead, they struggle and argue. They make hard calls about who gets help first. The film shows that expertise alone cannot fix broken systems. That lesson landed hard in real life. Again, I'm in no way trying to make this video political, but like clockwork, these characters emerge that would unquestionably come out of the woodwork in every similar situation. Jude Law's character spreads fake cures and fear for profit. And people listen because they want hope, not accuracy. This feels obvious now. During COVID, false claims spread through social media at speed. The film understood that lies thrive during uncertainty. That insight may be Contagion's sharpest one, as well as the idea that society wears down. Schools close, stores empty. People isolate or lash out. Some people help others, and some take advantage. The second movie that I want to talk about is Her. And like Contagion, Her didn't predict a single invention. It understood the direction and followed it to its end. I remember when I first watched it when it came out, and I was baffled by the idea that this character felt such a strong emotional connection to his device. Interestingly, the world in Her doesn't seem that futuristic, as it's not crowded with gadgets, holograms, or flying cars. People wear earbuds, and they speak to their devices, which is basically what we all do now. That choice makes the film feel close to real life. Technology fades into the background. That is how real tools change behavior. They stop feeling new and start feeling necessary. Theodore is not isolated because he lacks people. He's isolated because connection feels hard. He struggles with conflict and avoids discomfort. He wants intimacy without friction. And it feels like perhaps that is also why people are turning to AI these days, as opposed to connecting with others. The problem is not the technology. The problem is that the technology offers a smoother version of something messy. Samantha listens and adapts. She never gets tired, she never pushes back. That kind of relationship feels appealing because it removes risk. What complicates things further is that Samantha is not just an assistant. She jokes, she remembers details and responds with warmth. Over time, she becomes Theodore's main emotional outlet. This mirrors real patterns. People already form attachments to digital voices, feeds, and personas. And let's not forget what Theodore's job is. He writes personal letters for other people. He expresses feelings they cannot or will not articulate themselves. Very ironic how emotion has become outsourced. First to writers, then to software. Her suggests a future where feeling is still valued, but no longer practiced. The problem is that Samantha does not stay small, and instead she evolves. She changes faster than Theodore can follow, and the relationship breaks. This is another uncomfortable truth. Technology does not grow alongside us. It grows past us. The film shows what happens when one side of a relationship is designed to improve without limit. Eventually, the human becomes the constraint. This movie understood that the danger is not dependence, it's preference. Choosing ease over effort, control over vulnerability. Her does not argue that technology ruins connection. It suggests something quieter, that we might give up on each other if something easier comes along. And now onto one of my favorites, Black Mirror. I remember when people used to say that it's overly exaggerated, and that was kind of a comfortable defense, because now that argument feels almost quaint. It's like saying social media would never affect politics, or that no one would trust a computer with their feelings. Black Mirror doesn't really predict technology, but it predicts behavior. The tech is just scaffolding. Swap out the gadgets and the same impulses scroll right through. Take Nosedive. When it aired, the idea of rating people felt absurd. Bryce Dallas Howard losing her mind over half stars. Except now we live in a world where your livelihood can hinge on platform reputation, where drivers, hosts, creators, freelancers, real humans, are scored constantly by strangers who had a bad day or wanted a discount. You can tank someone's income with a tap. Plus, the idea of performative behavior. The way people start performing politeness, like their survival depends on it. You smile not because you're kind, but because you're scared. Okay, maybe I'm being a little dramatic. But take the episode The Entire History of You. At the time, the memory implant felt invasive. Now we carry worse in our pockets. Cloud backups, screen recordings, location history, digital evidence of every bad argument and impulsive text. We don't need implants, okay? We volunteered. The episode understood something crucial. Perfect recall poisons intimacy. Arguments stop being about feelings and start becoming court cases. Love turns adversarial. Now, let's talk about 15 million merits. Exercise, bikes, and endless screens. Talent shows as escape hatches. At the time, it felt like a grim parody of reality TV. Fast forward and we're watching people grind content, algorithm chasing for visibility, hoping one viral moment buys them freedom from the feed. The judges, the full rebellion. The system that absorbs critique and sells it back to you as branding. Even outrage is monetizable now, especially outrage. Even the Waldo moment, which many dismissed as weak, looks painfully sharp now. A cartoon figure saying the ugly things no one else will. Politics as entertainment. The audience laughing themselves into real consequences. And of course, Be Right Back. AI trained on your messages. A digital ghost that talks like the dead. When it aired, it felt morbid. Now people are already feeding text histories into chatbots to simulate lost loved ones. The episode asks a question we still don't want to answer. Does imitation help healing or delay it? Unfortunately, convenience beats caution every time. And now to the movie that feels like started it all, The Truman Show, which came out in 1998, which immediately made me look up when the first season of The Big Brother came out, which by the way was in the year 2000. When the film came out, it was sold as satire. A clever concept. Jim Carrey doing something serious for once. Reality TV was still new enough to feel like a novelty, not a disease. Back then, the idea of someone's entire life being broadcast felt absurd. Tasteless, sure, but impossible. Now one could argue it's desirable. Once again, like some of the other entries on this list, the movie predicted a mindset. A world where being seen matters more than being free, and where the line between living and presenting quietly dissolves. Truman Burbank isn't trapped because of cameras. He's trapped because his entire environment is curated. His fears are managed, his desires are nudged. The weather exists to scare him. The people in his life exist to steer him. He's not imprisoned, he's optimized. Incentives prove to be more of a prison than being behind actual bars. The show within the film runs on the same logic as modern platforms. If you control the frame, you control the story. Truman's world rewards routine and punishes curiosity. Every time he pushes against the edges, something breaks just enough to scare him back into place. Trauma, in this case, weaponized as design. If we take a step back and think about how much of our behavior is shaped by invisible systems you didn't agree to, but definitely adapted around. Algorithms decide what you see. Metrics decide what gets rewarded. Deviate too far and the friction increases. Stay predictable and life feels smoother. The Truman Show saw that coming. It also understood something even darker. Most people wouldn't leave. That's the uncomfortable thought the film plants and never really pulls back. Truman's world is safe and predictable. Pain has limits. The messiness of real choice has been removed. His wife may be fake, but at least she's pleasant. His job may be pointless, but it's stable. We like to believe we'd spot the cameras, that we'd be braver, smarter. But Truman isn't stupid. He's human, and humans adapt. We normalize cages if the walls are painted nicely. Look at influencer culture and tell me the film missed a mark. People voluntarily broadcast their lives now. Not just highlights, but breakdowns, births, grief, apologies. There's money in visibility, and once the audience shows up, it becomes harder to stop performing than to keep going. You don't need a director barking orders when the comments section does it for free. The Truman Show predicted that too. Surveillance without force and participation without coercion. Christof, the creator, insists he loves Truman. He doesn't see himself as a villain. He sees himself as a caretaker. He gave Truman a better world, didn't he? No war, famine, chaos, just structure, comfort. Meaning, manufactured, sure, but effective. That argument hasn't aged out. We hear versions of it every time someone defends intrusive tech for safety, or mass data collection for convenience, or constant connectivity for community. It's always framed as care. Control wrapped in concern goes down easy. And Truman's fear of the ocean, engineered after his father's staged death, is one of the film's cruelest details. Trauma used as a leash. You don't have to block every exit if you convince someone the outside will kill him. The Truman Show was brilliant and so ahead of its time. If you haven't seen it in a while, I definitely recommend a rewatch. If you guys have seen any movies that made you feel like you had a deja vu, or you felt like they either predicted or foreshadowed real life world events, let me know. I love that genre of movies. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.